Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Hmm. As always, you know, playing with the lighting. Hi, good evening, and welcome to another chat. Welcome to another chat. As usual, I'm playing with the lighting. I don't know. I'm perfect on Instagram, but on Facebook, I don't know. The whole studio here. But anyway, I hope you had a wonderful day. I certainly did. It was very productive, and I got caught up at my 9 to 5. I am still working my 9 to 5, but I am committed because I have so much to share. And I wanted to keep my commitment. I told you that I would be here up until Thursday. If you're just joining me, um, I've been going live for 3 weeks. Let me just make sure. Okay, I always have to check that my microphone is off, right? I've been going live for about this is the third week, sharing with you thoughts, um, sharing questions about, you know, leadership, um, giving you strategies that will help you. And so I'm back here again on a Tuesday. Oh my goodness. Give me one moment. The AC is off and it's probably, oh my goodness, I forgot the AC is on and it gives so much noise. It gives so much background noise. Um, but it's only Tuesday, and it feels as though the week is almost over, right? There's so much to do. But anyway, let me introduce myself. My name is Wave and I am a leadership coach. I help new managers develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work and leveraging their communication skills. And I focus on new managers because you've heard me say before, if you're not new here, that new managers are at risk. Um, you don't always have the support, the guidance, the know how, the tools, the strategies that will help you to be successful in your role. There's a lot of things that you don't know. Um, but two critical areas as a new manager that you need to really set the foundation that will give you success in your leadership is working, cultivating your work relationships, and really leveraging your communication, working on your communication. Last night, I spoke to you about Communicate to Influence, which is my coaching program, which is how you can work with me one on one. We worked together for 90 days, and I gave an in depth overview about the modules, what you can expect. I also shared with you how important communication is. I listed various pitfalls that new managers walk into, um, you know, when it comes to communication, and some of which you may not have thought about, some of which probably you're doing and you're not aware. And so I share those with you. So if you miss the live stream, please, you can, the replays are up. The replays are up for the last 2 weeks. The replays are up from last night. And I am on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And so this evening, I want to speak to you about my topic is your attitude contagious? When I speak about attitude, it's really about your leadership attitude. What is your attitude to being a new manager? What is your attitude to being a leader? And sometimes we really have to examine this. We have to really understand, because our attitude, our mindset about something will really dictate our behavior, right? It will dictate our actions. And so some people, some managers, some corporations feel like people should be thankful that they have a job. And especially coming out of the pandemic, there are some companies, there's some people that did not learn, you know, people almost expect that people should be grateful. The attitude of some is that people should be grateful that they have a job, right? They should be thankful. There are people out there that don't have a job, right? The attitude may be people need to come to work motivated. They need to come to work motivated. And yes, there are people need to, what do you call it? You could lead the horse to water. I don't know if you've heard that expression, but you can't make it drink. And you can, try as much as possible, but people need to bring something to the table, is what I'm trying to say. And you're absolutely correct. But if this is your overall attitude, then maybe you have, this is why you're experiencing frustration. Maybe this is why you're not getting anywhere. This is why you're feeling resistance. This is why you probably walk into a room and everybody goes quiet, or you feel that resistance from your team. Okay. My question would be to you is, and even if you don't, my question would be to you is, what do you think your role is? What do you think the role is of a manager? Yes, yes, yes. Thanks. I actually have that book, What Color is Your Parachute? It's a great book in helping you to discover what you actually want to do, the particular industries that you need that are best suited for your personality, what your values are. So, thank you so much for bringing that up. Someone on Instagram recommended a book. It's called What Color is Your Parachute? And it's a great book. It's been around for a long time. They have updated and revised it, but it's a must read. So thank you so much for that. I'm gonna pin that. So, what do you think your role is? What do you think the role is of a manager? And you need to really examine your mindset. You need to examine your attitude towards it, right? Because your job isn't just to get to tell people what to do, right? You just get to tell people what to do. You have tasks, you get to push people around, you get to tell people what to do, you're overseeing them, um, you're overseeing their work. Your job also isn't just to tell them when they're wrong. There's some leaders that the only thing that they can do is point out how wrong something is, right? They never they never celebrate their teams, they never tell them great job. They never, it's always, you know, something that's wrong. And I can't remember the ratio, but for, and I could be reaching here, but for every negative or every constructive criticism, you really need to tell someone six things. I think it's something like that. I could be wrong, right? Um, and so your job isn't just to tell people when they're wrong. Your job isn't just to hold them accountable, um, to be responsible for their actions. It's not just about those things, right? So what is your role? Because your attitude determines how you show up. Your attitude, what you think your role is, your mindset about being a leader dictates how you will lead. And it's going to affect your attitude. And so you have to ask yourself, if you is your leadership attitude contagious, right? You, you as a leader, you need to bring a common vision to people. You need to show people how their work helps to transform not only them, but the communities and the world, right? Their communities and the world, right? That's part of it. That's part of it. And this is where the motivation comes in. So if you're not aware of, if your attitude is skewed, and sometimes, before I get into all this, sometimes your attitude could be skewed because of your past experiences, right? Your past experiences with people that were your bosses, and you think that this is the right way to behave. You think this is the right way to lead. You think that, being a leader is just, you got the office, you're telling people what to do. There's one set of rules for you, another for someone else. You think that being a leader, you get to come into work when you want to, but for everybody else, they have to be on time, right? You have all these lists of things or what should or shouldn't happen, right? Because sometimes you have bad influences. And sometimes, even though we may vow that we are not going to be like that horrible boss that we have, sometimes we end up doing the very same things that are operating in the very same ways those people have operated. Okay. And so, is this you? What is your leadership attitude? Is it contagious? Is your attitude contagious? Because if you have a skewed view, you're gonna have a negative attitude. The way you behave is gonna come across negatively. And so if you're not aware of your role, or I should say, you set the tone and direction of the people you lead. Okay. Sometimes I skip ahead of my notes. Like I have them all written down, but because I'm so passionate, because I'm so passionate about what I say, sometimes I'm way ahead. So you set the tone and the direction of the people that you lead. You are it. You people look to you as to what to do next. They're looking to you. This is why when you are in management, it's like you're always on stage. In crisis, in terms of crisis, people are looking to leaders to see what to do. You see this play out. You saw this play out um, during the pandemic. That people were looking to the leaders to like, what next, right? What next? So you set the tone and the direction of the people you lead. You set the tone and direction of the environment. Okay, that's what you do. You carry out the mission and the vision of the organization by communicating and connecting, right? You carry out the mission and the vision. And so you have to know what that is. So many persons, I've been in HR for a very long time. I think I told you it's about 17 years, 16 or 17 years. Who's counting, right? A very long time. And I have interviewed so many people and they don't know why they want a job. They don't know why they apply for a company. Are they giving you a reason that they think that you want to hear? And people don't take the time to ask valid questions. They don't take the time to ask the good questions. Some people. You need to understand the organization for which you're working, because you have to follow the mission and the vision of that organization. And maybe it's not in alignment with you and what you're about. And so you can't carry a mission and vision if you don't know. You also have to communicate and connect with people. Because if you don't know what's expected, you're going to be leading people blindly. You don't know what the mission, if you don't know what it is really, what being a leader truly really is. If you've had bad examples, if you've picked up bad consciously or subconsciously, if you've picked up bad habits because you've had bad leaders or not really good role models, because sometimes people are not just bad, they just don't know, right? And you may have been, you know, developed by them, and you may have seeing something to work. Um, Last week I spoke about imitating people. Sometimes we're imitating their actions, but we're not imitating the formula. We don't have the formula, which is a very dangerous place to be. So imagine if, and I was talking about people who seem, who we perceive to have it all together. So could you imagine, um, maybe this person, maybe what we've seen role modeled for us, we may not have had a good leader, but we somehow think that their method was effective. Sometimes we think that way. I didn't like them, but hey, the method was effective, and so we carry out, we perpetuate the same behavior, and that leads to disaster. So if you don't know what's expected of you, if you're leading blindly, if you don't know what your role is, really and truly, you are leaving opportunities on the table. You're leaving so much on the opportunities on the table. You have to develop that leadership attitude. The first module, the very, very first module in Communicator Influence, which is my coaching program, is a leader's mindset. And it is the first one for a specific reason. You cannot elevate beyond the level of your mindset. You can never elevate beyond the level of your mindset. You can never be successful beyond the level of your mindset. It is a continuous work. You have to work on your mind. Leaders who um, always seem to hoard information, or leaders who seem to don't want to show their staff, their employees, how to do something. These are people who are stuck. These are people who are in fear. These are people who have a fixed mindset. They don't have an abundant mindset. It all boils down to mindset, because why wouldn't you want to show someone? Why would you be afraid that you would be out of a job if you show someone what you know? Why would you be afraid of that? Aren't you confident enough in your ability? Aren't you confident? A lot of people quote, "No one is you, and that's your superpower." And it's a great quote, it's a deep quote, but do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Someone is saying on Instagram, most people don't quit companies, they quit their leaders. So happy I stumbled on your life. That is so true. They quit. Listen, people would move mountains for you, if you lead them correctly. If you try, if they see you trying, if you really invest in them, because it's not about you anymore. It's not about you. It is about, strengthening your team, coaching, guiding, showing support. Is it easy? No, it isn't easy. You're dealing with humans, you're managing humans, right? But is it worth it? It is worth it. And leaders have so much influence over people's life. They change people's life. They change people. You have the ability. Everybody wants to get into politics. Everybody wants to get into politics, right? And everybody wants to be popular. Everybody wants to do something groundbreaking and earth shattering, and everybody wants to have their names all up in the news. But do you realize that you could change someone's the trajectory of somebody's lives just by leading them and being a good leader? Oh, I'm trying. Do you realize that you could change the trajectory of somebody's lives just by being a good leader? People come to work. One of the things that hospitality has taught me. My background is also in hospitality for 18 years. And one of the things that hospitality has taught me is this: when you are dealing with a guest, and it is the same for any other human that you come into contact with, and I always try to remember it. Always try to remember it. I don't do a great job 100% of the time, but I'm consistent with it, right? Um, is that when you are dealing with a guest that has an issue, you know, usually this person sometimes they have been going through so much. I've done a lot of customer service trainings, and one of the things that we tell people is that listen, this person has been traveling for a very long time. So I live in the Caribbean, I live on the island of St. Kitts, and so the guest is coming usually from the US, right? From the East Coast. And they probably, if they're coming from the West Coast or if they're coming from the mid region, um, okay, they're getting up very early to catch a flight. They're getting up very early to catch a flight. There may not be a direct flight. You guys know, if you're listening to the live stream, flights to the island, um, to St. Kitts, it's just direct flights and not, it's not the same all year round, right? So they're getting up early, they're catching a flight, they're coming, if they don't have a direct flight, they're coming through Miami, right? And you know what a hassle that can be. You're coming through Miami, then you have to clear immigration. You may or may not get somebody who's great, you know, maybe they're not in a good mood. I'm just being real, right? Not knocking immigration, right? Immigration into the island. And then you're now on the island and you know your vacation has started, okay, and these things are happening, things are happening. And so when someone stands in front of you, which is the point I'm trying to make, they would have had all these other experiences. So you're not just dealing with that standalone, you're dealing with all the other issues that may or may have happened, right? Why I say that? It's the same thing when you lead people. When people come to work, I don't think people show up to work to do a bad job. But when you lead people, you have someone standing in front of you. You have someone in your team, on your team, sorry, a group of people on your team that they have lives that you have um, no clue what is going on. They may have gotten up, maybe they have woken up with their significant other, maybe they had a fight, the kids didn't do their homework, maybe one of the kids they're going through a tough patch, maybe a teenager, and teenagers, maybe they're going through that rebellious stage, right? um maybe they're dealing with a sick family member or a sick child. They're struggling, they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay for whatever, and here they come on the job, and you want to be a horrible person, a horrible leader, or because I don't think the people who look at the people's brand, um I want to believe we attract people who want to invest in themselves. I believe that, right? So maybe it is that you don't invest in yourself. And by not investing in yourself, by not understanding what your role is, right? You've chosen to be mediocre. You've chosen to be mediocre. And so now you have people in your charge. How are you leading them? You don't know what your role is. How are you leading them? And so you have to be very careful. You have so much power and influence in people's lives because a great leader can have such a positive influence in the lives of the people that come into contact with them, as well as someone who is a negative leader, right? Who is just horrible. And so never just think about you, never just think about, oh, whatever. You have the ability to change people's life. You have the ability to impact someone's lives. Maybe by your leading, they change careers. Maybe by their leading, your leading, they go on to do something that they've always wanted to do. Maybe by your leading, they become a better parent because I know you can't. invest and change one aspect of your life without the other aspect changing. So whatever is going on in your personal life will affect professional and vice versa. When you invest in you, when you grow professionally, it's going to spill over in your personal life. It will. And so I want to really challenge you this evening to think about, do you know what your role is? Your role isn't just to tell people what to do, push people around, get that big office, get more money, get onto the next position, position yourself to get further. Your role is much bigger than that. I love this quote by Martin Luther King where he says, everybody could be great because everybody could serve. And I want to challenge you to see being a leader as an opportunity to serve. You don't have to be in politics. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be whatever, infamous, right? But you have the opportunity. When Oprah was doing, and I'm going to wrap up, right? When Oprah was doing her final show, she spoke about, she gave this speech and she was saying that, everybody have a platform. Everybody has a platform. She was saying, my platform um, is millions, thousands, millions of viewers worldwide, you know, stepping on the stage. That is a platform. But each of us, each of us have a platform. Each of us have a platform. And so how are you using your leadership platform? Is your attitude as a leader contagious? Do people want to be around you? What shows up when you do? Do people feel safe with you? Do people feel encouraged by your leadership? Right? This is what you should be asking yourself. What shows up when you do? Is your attitude contagious? Okay. Sometimes, and especially coming out of this pandemic, there's so much going on with people that work for many is an escape. And if you choose to be mediocre, if you choose not to invest in yourself and up level your game, you're just adding to it because they're in that environment. Okay. And so I want to challenge you tonight to serve in a deeper way, to through your leading, through by your position, by your role of being a manager. I think it's a calling. I think it's a calling. And um, there's some people that have natural leadership tendencies, but I'm telling you, if you put in the work, you could be just as great, just as great. I think that leaders are not just born. You can transition, you can transform, and be an influential leader. And so that's it. This is what I had to share with you. Um, you can work with me um, by joining my Communicate to Influence program. But first, we have to have a consultation call, just you and I, to determine if you're the right fit because I work with people who are really serious and passionate. Hi, good night, Brenda, who are really serious and passionate about their growth and development. So if you just want it done for you, if you think that this is something that's one and done, I am not the person for you. So we need to have a consultation call so I can also understand what which area you really need the most help in. And then we get you all enrolled into the Communicate to Influence coaching program, where we work together for 90 days to help you develop influential leadership. And I would love to have you in that program if you're serious about your growth and development. And so I will, on Facebook, I will put a link there that you can read more about the program. If you're on Instagram, you can read more about the program. In that uh, web page, you can also schedule a consultation call. And so I look forward to speaking with you more. Um, I will speak to you tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow and Thursday, and then I will go back to our weekly Saturday chats. So um, until next time, see you tomorrow. Have a fabulous evening and stay safe. Bye. Oh, and thank you. Thank you so much for participating. How could I forget that? Thank you so much for participating this evening. I really enjoyed your comments and your participation. Bye.